Who was your first teacher?
My first teacher was called Malkovich. He was a middle-aged man who had a lot of patience for young kids. I remember that he showed a lot of understanding for us, but he also wasn't afraid to make us aware when we crossed the boundary with him. I really loved him as a teacher.
What was the most important thing you learned in school?
I know this might be funny to you, but the most important thing I learned in school was that I should clean my room and that I should fold my own clothes. I know that it's ridiculous, but before that, my mother used to do everything for me. It was my teacher that made me aware of the fact that I should do that.
Describe your elementary school.
It was a gray building. It had about 4 floors, if I remember correctly. There were many elementary schools in my country that looked exactly the same. They had the exact same layout. But anyway, it had a huge playground. There was a lot of space around that building where kids could play.
Were you happy to go to school when you were a kid?
To be honest, I wasn't. I really enjoyed being with my friends at my home, where we played video games and where we watched the latest movies. Besides my elementary school teacher, when I started going to middle school and high school, it got really boring for me, so I didn't enjoy that much.
How far was your high school from your house?
It was just 10 minutes by walking. I think that among all of my classmates, my house was the closest to the school. During the break, I would never spend time with my classmates. I would just go home and have breakfast. Some of my classmates thought it was strange I did that, while others envied me that I could do it. You will have 60 seconds to prepare, and then you will speak for between 60 to 120 seconds. Start speaking now. The home I would like to describe to you is the home of my maternal grandmother. She lived in a remote place. It took my family a long time to get to her. We had to drive for about an hour and a half to get to the countryside where she lived. Now, I don't know if I should say that the home was big or not. It was a single-story building, but it was spread out. There were multiple rooms. My grandmother had plenty of storage space. There was also a barn where she kept goats. The house was made from stones, and we are not talking about cut stones, stones that were cut, but we are talking about the stones that you could find in any field. They were not shaped into cubes and then stacked on top of each other. but basically one ordinary stone was put on another irregular stone, but of course it was held together by cement. Inside the home, the floors were made from wood, and there were plenty of wooden columns holding wooden beams that held the roof. Inside the house, you could also find wooden furniture. All that wood inside, and also the stone from which the house was made of, made you feel as though you were stepping into history. It was a really old house. It was built probably a century and a half ago.
Are modern homes better than those in the past?
I would say that they are, because first of all, they are energy efficient. And I think that is the number one thing that makes them better. And basically, that's the only thing that's important in my book. It took a lot to heat up a home before, but now there is the insulation that homes have, and it's really easy to heat up a home and to do it while using a small amount of energy. So I think that homes are really good in that regard.
In which way were homes in the past better?
I would say that their simplicity was their strength. There was something meditating in the simplicity of the older homes. Here I would also mention the home that I described, the home of my grandmother. When I went into her home, I always felt calm, as though I was stepping into a simpler and calmer life. So I would say that simplicity was their strength.
What is needed for a place to be called a home?
I think that's subjective. I think all of us would have a different answer to this. In order for a place to be called a home, it needs to be a place where a person would like to live. For me, a home is a place where I feel comfortable, a place where I feel happy, and where I would like to invite the people that I care about, the people that I want to hang out with.
Do you think there is a way to provide homes for everyone?
I think there is. I think that now, with modern technology, it's not expensive to build a house or an apartment. I think that a home can be provided for everyone. There just needs to be an initiative and the desire to do this. So I will definitely say that there is a way to provide a home for everyone, but that there isn't an understanding or the drive to do that.
In which way will homes change in the future?
I think that they will become easier to build. I think that they will become more energy efficient and that they will become smart. Now, when I say that they will become smart, I mean it in the sense in which the phones became smart. I think that we will have touch walls, so to speak, where we could, for example, set the alarm just by touching the wall and choosing some settings on it. And also that our homes will simply have more utilities.